our program is Smart Moves. It's a drug, alcohol, and pregnancy prevention program, and actually was developed, I think, in the 80s, and it has continued to grow over the years. So originally we started with just teaching young people how to say no and resisting those things, abstinence and drugs. And since that time, there have been new components that have been added, and of course, world changes, and so you have to do things differently. So there's a Smart Girls component, strictly for young ladies. There's Passport to Manhood, which is strictly for our young men. We have a program called Date Smart. So the Smart Moves is kind of the umbrella now, and these programs fall under that. But the overall premise, of course, and the ultimate goal is just really teaching kids resilience and how to model positive behaviors.
Most of the law enforcement folks we have talked to for this series and the judges and others are telling us that methamphetamines have sort of taken over from opioids. Not that opioids still aren't a problem, but they also said they didn't see a lot of meth use among the age of students, 6 to 18 that you serve. Is that what you're seeing, that it's mainly what's happened in their neighborhood or when they're not here or at home rather than them actually partaking?
Yeah, for the most part, I think most after-school programs, we've been working with our kids for a while, and so luckily they are learning the skills. But you do see it in neighborhoods. You see it more with adults. I can't say that kids are not doing it, but I think there's other things out there that they'd prefer or are trying before they would do that. I pray they never try meth. But we do see it more in the adults. Like sometimes when parents or adults will come pick kids up, we'll have to, we can't release them, of course, because you can tell if they're high or drunk or whatever. And
is that a big problem, or is
not
that
a big
an
problem?
occasional?
No, yeah, it's occasional. We do have families that have issues and are dealing with outside forces, if you will, and so it becomes a problem occasionally. But it's very rare that we'll experience that. We're fortunate in the sense that our parents are. They're trying to maintain. They're trying to do a good thing. They're working hard with their young people. Of course, with the pandemic, our entire world has changed. Kids approach things a little differently now than they used to, or it feels that way. And that's probably my concern, is that we have not seen meth as a thing for our kids to try. But I worry the fact that it's so cheap and it seems to be so prevalent in this area that I do worry about them, starting up.
Well, hopefully this program can make some inroads to keep some of that happening.
That's
Is there anything else about this or where we are headed? I don't know if we're post-pandemic officially, but we're not post-COVID, but we may be post-pandemic. As things get back to quote-unquote normal, what are you hoping that this Smart Moves will continue to be useful and maybe
Absolutely.
grow some?
We're actually hoping, in partnership with Avenue, we're hoping that we can expand this program. It is a patented program, or it's registered, and so you can't use Smart Moves unless you're connected with a Boys and Girls Club, but we have been given permission from our national organization to share it in our community as long as we have that partnership. And so we actually have memorandums of understanding through Avenue, and they kind of serve as the catalyst for it, which kind of puts us out of the strict part, which is good. So currently we're working with Girls Inc. and the YMCA, and we're hoping to expand that a little bit. So if there's schools, we can go in during lunchtime or a particular hour. We can teach that program ourselves for teachers in the schools, or if there's a church that has a huge group of young people and they'd like to have the program. I know at one point it was compared to like DARE and GREAT. I don't know if you remember those programs. And I'm a little biased, of course, because I work for clubs, but I do feel like Smart Moves expands so much more. Those programs were strictly for drugs, and this one, it's drugs, but it's working with young people in positive behaviors. It's the social emotional well-being, and most of us know that if we're healthy or we feel good about ourselves, then we're not usually putting bad things in our bodies.